The signal wasn't meant for humans. It crackled through the void, a broken whisper of fear and pain, bouncing off dying satellites and debris fields near the edge of the Perseus arms. Static ate most of the transmission, but the repeating fragments were unmistakable. A voice? Alien, ancient, terrified, pleading in a forgotten tongue. Galactic linguists took hours to decode just one line, but it sent shockwaves through the Galactic Council chambers. We're dying again. Not the Kreth. Not again. The room went silent. No one said the name aloud anymore. Not since the Kreth vanished 6 centuries ago, after turning half the known galaxy into meat farms and ash clouds. The Council had declared them extinct, a nightmare buried in time. Apparently, the nightmare had survived. The signal came from a system long thought dead, its planets sterilized by Kreth harvesters centuries ago. No sentient life remained, or so everyone believed. But now, this distress call proved otherwise. The Council responded the only way they knew how, with panic. Meetings stretched for days. The Cyrelians wanted to flee. The Ural proposed offering tribute. The Vexians argued that ignoring the signal would keep them safe. Everyone had opinions. No one had a plan. Until Earth's representative stood up. Admiral Elias Rhodes wasn't tall, but when he spoke, people listened. He adjusted the cuffs on his old Terran Navy uniform, leaned forward, and stared down the entire council with calm intensity. If this is the Kreth, he said, then this isn't a request. This is a warning. Someone from the Threxian delegation scoffed. Human bravado again? You think Earth's primitive fleets can handle what we can't? Rhodes didn't blink. We don't rely on hope. We rely on readiness. The room rippled with laughter. A dozen species chuckled, muttered, or rolled their eyes. Humanity was still new. A young race barely 2 centuries into spacefaring politics. They didn't understand. Earth didn't forget the Kreth. While the Council celebrated peace, humanity trained. While others dismantled warships, Earth built more. And while galactic society softened, Terran forces grew harder. We don't run from old ghosts, Rhodes said firmly. We hunt them. Then go alone, the Vexian ambassador sneered. But don't bring your war to our borders. Rhodes stood, collected his datapad, and nodded once. We won't need to. He turned to leave, but paused at the chamber door. Over his shoulder, his words struck like iron. Sit tight, he said. Humanity's got your back. That phrase would become legend. Within hours, Earth activated its Black Flag protocols, mobilizing fleets hidden in Europa's shadow, reactivating sleeper satellites in the Oort cloud, and recalling veterans from deep space exploration. Across the galaxy, aliens argued, hesitated, and planned. Humanity moved. Because deep in Terran memory, beneath history and pain, one truth remained. When the monsters return, humanity doesn't hide. It prepares to end them. Captain Mara Vega stood in the CIC of the TNS Retribution, her eyes locked on the tactical display showing the Theta Hydra system. They weren't here for diplomacy. Their orders were clear: intercept, identify, and respond. Terran High Command didn't want speculation, they wanted proof. And proof is what Vega found. Orbiting the desolate world below was not a traditional Kreth ship. It was a colony seed, nearly 300 kilometers long, its surface pulsing like muscle and bone. The structure latched onto the planet's crust like a parasite, injecting invasive biomachines into the soil, terraforming the world into something unrecognizable. The native inhabitants, an insectoid species called the Zalari, had been nearly wiped out. Recon drones sent back images of corpses with organs harvested, neural tissue dissected, and some still twitching in dissected agony. It wasn't war. It was farming. Vega's blood boiled. She turned to her exo. Lock orbital batteries. Prep fire mission Alpha Bravo. Ma'am, that'll glass the entire region. I'm aware. The Kreth hadn't changed. Neither would humanity. The order was given. From orbit, the Retribution unleashed a rain of annihilation. Thermoplasma strikes burned away everything. Kinetic rods penetrated deep into the colony seed's core. Finally, an EMP lattice detonated in low orbit, ensuring no biosignal escaped. When it was over, Theta Hydra's surface was a cratered wasteland. Nothing living remained. We're not here to send messages, Vega said quietly. We're here to erase nightmares. The news reached Earth within hours. Within days, it reached the Council. Some were horrified. Others, quietly, were relieved. The Kreth weren't invincible after all. And Earth had just proved it. Still, others called it barbaric. Rhodes addressed them all with the same phrase: the Kreth don't understand diplomacy. Only consequences. And Earth was ready to provide them. The Kreth responded quickly and viciously. Terran colony Daxter 7 had been peaceful for decades. Its cities floated on clouds of gas, its people known for art, not war. But when the Kreth arrived, peace didn't matter. The attack was surgical and brutal. The Kreth swarm entered undetected using cloaked bioships, landed directly on the capital, and unleashed harvest drones. The city was consumed in 3 hours. No distress signal got out. Only a single scout drone survived, floating above the wreckage, transmitting the last horrifying image: a Kreth claw stabbed into the ground, its talons wrapped around the Terran flag. The message was clear. Earth mourned but didn't hesitate. Admiral Rhodes returned to command. Vega was given operational control of the first Terran Retribution fleet. Shipyards across Mars and Titan ramped up into full wartime production. Civilian projects were halted. AI clusters repurposed for tactical warfare. Thousands volunteered for the front. But this wasn't panic. It was focus. Purpose. Cold rage wrapped in steel. From the ruins of Daxter 7, Terran forces recovered one fragment of Kreth code and embedded neural command beacon. Once decrypted, it gave coordinates. Not just to a fleet, but to a planet. The Kreth weren't just back. They had a home again. And humanity had a target. The Kreth didn't expect humanity to strike so soon. They had underestimated Earth again. At Orion's edge, a strategic system bridging multiple jump lanes, the Kreth deployed a full hive ship. It was a world unto itself, larger than most moons, covered in pulsating armor, bristling with weapon nodes and launch bays. Inside, over 1 million Kreth warriors nested. Terran scouts identified it early. They didn't wait for reinforcements. Fleet Commander Vega launched Operation Blackstar. The Terran fleet didn't engage in a traditional battle. Instead, they punched through space-time with pulse jump drives, appearing inside the hive's defenses before alarms could trigger. Drop pods hit the surface like thunderclaps, cracking bioshells and disgorging exomarines armed with micronukes, neural disruptors, and AI-linked combat suits. The Kreth responded with primal fury. Drones swarmed like insects, and Hive Guardians, massive, armored monstrosities, ripped through corridors. But humanity fought dirtier. Hackers injected combat viruses into the Hive's nervous system. Terraform bombs warped internal geometry. Marines collapsed birthing chambers with seismic charges. And when it was done, when the screams faded and fire rained, Vega stood in the Hive's central brain chamber and marked the wall with a plasma torch. "You started this. We'll finish it." The Terran fleet exited through a wormhole, leaving the Hive to implode under its own neural collapse. Galactic networks exploded with the news. For the first time in known history, a Kreth hive had been destroyed by humans. The galaxy changed overnight. Species that once mocked Earth now sent envoys begging for alliances. Treaties were signed. Military advisors dispatched. Terran influence spread faster than Kreth spores ever had. But humanity didn't demand tribute. They demanded cooperation. Terran joint defense networks formed across 100 systems. Veteran Marines trained alien militias. Terran engineers upgraded outdated defense grids. In return, alien scientists helped refine Earth's tech further. The Council, long divided, found itself orbiting one gravitational force, Earth. At a summit on New Geneva, Admiral Rhodes spoke plainly. "We don't want dominion," he said, "but will not stand by while monsters eat our neighbors alive." He didn't need applause, just silence. And he got it. Behind the scenes, however, Terran intelligence discovered something chilling. The Kreth weren't just spreading, they were coordinated, controlled. They had a queen, and she lived on Xerekthal. Part 6. The Hive Planet. Xerekthal was no myth. Hidden in a gravity-scarred pocket of space, invisible to standard scanners, it pulsed with bioenergy. A planet-sized hive, black and alive, its surface covered in chitinous towers and breathing structures. Billions of Kreth lived there. The Council begged Earth to launch an orbital strike. But Earth had learned the hard way: if you leave the roots, the weeds grow back. Fleet Commander Vega disagreed. "We go in," she said. The largest fleet in galactic history assembled under Terran command. Over 150,000 ships from 40 species, spearheaded by Terran dreadnoughts. appeared in high orbit above Zerachthal. Then the humans dropped first. Special units called Breakers landed at key hive nodes. Their mission: shut down planetary neural control, cut off coordination, and end the Queen. The ground war began. Kreth emerged like a flood, shrieking and unstoppable. But Earth had trained for this. 7 days of hell began. Part 7. Humanity's Gift. The skies burned. Land boiled. Mountains collapsed as Terra's finest clashed with the Kreth in a battle that eclipsed mythology. No corner of Zerachthal went untouched. The Queen fought back directly. Her mind infected neural frequencies, causing hallucinations and madness. But Terran Marines war dampeners. Their AI support filtered psychic waves. They didn't break. They advanced. City-sized drills bored into hive roots. Atmospheric cores were detonated. No Kreth ship escaped orbit. Terran blockades shredded them mid-launch. On the 7th day, Vega reached the heart of Zerachthal, the throne of the Queen. She detonated a singularity charge at its base. When the dust settled, there was no Queen. No Kreth. Only silence. Her final broadcast echoed across every frequency in every tongue. This world belongs to the dead now. The Kreth are over. And if anything like them rises again, just remember, sit tight. Humanity's got your back.